Have you ever wondered how we, Homo sapiens, ended up all over the planet? It's a story that starts on one continent, Africa. For hundreds of thousands of years, Africa was the only home our species knew. So, what pushed our ancestors to take that giant leap into the unknown? About 70,000 years ago, a small group of early modern humans, maybe just a few hundred or a few thousand, did something incredible. They walked out of Africa, and their descendants would go on to populate the entire world. This wasn't the first time humans had left the continent, but this time it was different. This time it was permanent. So why then? What was the trigger? The leading theory points to climate change. Around that time, Northeast Africa was experiencing a severe drought. The landscape was turning into a harsh desert, making resources like food and water incredibly scarce. For our ancestors, it was a simple, brutal choice: move or perish. They weren't explorers with maps and grand ambitions. They were survivors, following the resources. Their first likely route was across what is now the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, connecting Africa to the Arabian Peninsula. Sea levels were much lower back then, so the crossing would have been shorter, possibly with small islands to hop between. Once they reached Arabia, they found a surprisingly green and welcoming landscape. Ancient riverbeds and lakes tell us that this green Arabia was a temporary paradise, a perfect new home base. From this Arabian foothold, our ancestors began their incredible journey. They were coastal pioneers, following the shorelines of the Indian Ocean. Why the coast? It was a reliable supermarket. The sea provided a constant source of food, fish, shellfish, you name it. The coastline acted like a highway, guiding them eastward. Generation after generation, they spread. Within just a few thousand years, they had reached Southeast Asia and, astonishingly, Australia, which required a significant sea voyage. This tells us our ancestors were not just walkers. They were becoming skilled navigators and boat builders. As some groups hugged the coast, others ventured inland, adapting to new environments. They moved up into Asia, and eventually, around 45,000 years ago, they entered Europe. It wasn't empty, though. They met our close relatives, the Neanderthals. For a while, they coexisted, but eventually, Homo sapiens became the only human species left. Then came the final frontiers. Around 20,000 years ago, during the peak of the last ice age, they crossed the Bering Land Bridge from Siberia into the Americas, populating 2 new continents. And finally, just a few thousand years ago, the most remote islands of the Pacific were settled by master seafarers. From a small band of survivors fleeing a drought to a global population of billions, the story of our journey out of Africa is the ultimate adventure story. It's a testament to our species' incredible resilience, adaptability, and an unyielding curiosity to see what lies over the next horizon. It's a journey that connects every single one of us. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this journey through time as fascinating as I did, please hit that like button and subscribe for more stories about our amazing human past. See you in the next video.